Okay, prayer number 4 or 5. Not even sure where I am now. I believe it's prayer 4. I'm on a roll! So this one feels really close to my heart. This one is... This is extremely close to my heart. Just to share, this week, one of my perpetrators, or whatever you want to call him, was outed by the public. And it brought up in me a deep, deep rage. Thinking about all the people over the last 30 years that he has harmed. And thinking about all the people that he connected to these people. And all the entire network that he, just as one person, had going for the last 30 years. And so, for me, having had a direct experience with this man, and having had escaped with my life and with being unscathed, if you will, not necessarily unharmed, but unscathed. So, Valeria, I'm talking about Harvey Weinstein. So, I don't normally speak to my own personal direct experience with things like this, but I was in Hollywood for 20 years, and I experienced a lot of things that nobody should ever have to experience. And, you know, based on who I was and what I was doing. And so for me, this one is really close to home. And I am profoundly grateful that I'm not famous. I will say that, as an actress. And part of the reason for that has to do with that particular group of people. And so that particular group, I would say, made a point of making it difficult for me because I didn't give them what they wanted. And so the rage that came up in me the other day when I saw his name and just shuddered was profound. I thought I dealt with it on a lot of levels. I had, but on some levels I hadn't. And, you know, these things stem from childhood. The abuse starts in youth. The abuse starts when we're children. We are groomed for this. And especially if, you know, living in Hollywood and Los Angeles and having been in the business for 20 years, I was definitely groomed to be a specific monarch human being. Sex kitten programming, and I've had to dismantle that programming, and it's taken me years and years and years to really dismantle the effects of that programming. in me. So this touches really, really deeply in my heart, and the compassion that I feel for the thousands and thousands of women that have been affected by this one man and his network. And in my specific, hi Keela, she actually knew me during that time, Keela, when that was going on. So that's kind of interesting. Hi, babe. So yeah, so I just felt a really strong need to pray for the truth to be revealed in our collective, and for the victims of these perpetrators to feel safe, to come forward and to join together so that we can create a world where there are no more secrets, where people aren't paying other people off to keep things quiet, so that the people that are victims are not being threatened with their lives. Because that's not a world that I'm willing to live in anymore. I've kept my mouth shut long enough. And it's taken me years to make the decision to speak to some of these issues. And I still haven't publicly, but I am right now. Just for this moment, I am making the decision so that I can pray for the collective and that you can join with me in the prayer field for this. This has to stop. This sexual deviation has to stop. And the grooming of the narcissism and the narcissist within our society has to stop. And I want to contribute to that in any way that I can to shift that consciousness on our planet. So having said that, I would like to go into prayer. Just simply recognizing and dropping into our heart space. Dropping into the center of stillness within. That place that knows the truth in every moment, in every breath. That we are divine emanations of spirit, incarnate in living flesh, body, temples. That we have been graced with to cherish and care for. And so knowing that we are one with all that is, with the power and the presence of the one life, the one power and the one presence of all that exists, we simply recognize the truth here. And that divine and compelling right action takes place within this moment. And we bring this forth, the truth being revealed through the sex offenders, through the victims of sex offenders, that both parties come forward to bring the truth into the light, into conversation, out into the open. There is no more hiding. There are no more secrets. Everything is being reconfigured and repatterned for the highest and best expression of humanity and all living beings on this planet right now. I claim this to be so. And so we recognize that those that have been victimized at one point within their life, at any point within their experience in this body, we simply recognize and acknowledge their experience as valid, as truth, that they know the truth of what they have experienced, and they are being heard and cherished and comforted and nourished in this moment, knowing that as the truth unfolds and is revealed out in the open, that there will be no more place for these untruths, these misalignments, these deviations to hide. There's no more place or space for that to exist within this space on the planet, that this consciousness can no longer sustain itself within the collective of humanity, that the light that is pouring down upon this earth, even tomorrow, even today, brings so much light and clarity and harmony and bliss to this planet that the darkness is exposed for what it is, that the light sheds its light upon this darkness, and it cannot hide. It can only be revealed. That is the only option here. And that those victims and those perpetrators come into the healing that they require to bring balance in their lives. And that those perpetrators see the truth of their actions and the consequences of their actions, and they come into right relations with themselves and with all others. And that they have the courage to admit the truth, to speak the truth, and to do something about it, to ask forgiveness, and to ask their victims for forgiveness. That they actually take responsibility and go straight to those victims, or publicly announce take full responsibility for their actions, coming into right relations with all of humanity and with all life. And that the victims also have an opportunity to come into right relations with themselves around this. That the healing can happen. That it is absolutely possible for this healing to take place. That despair no longer has the grip that it once had, because the truth is being revealed, because it's coming forth, and because they're not alone. And that they get all the support that they need in every single moment, that Spirit shines down upon them and brings them what they need to be able to walk through this with grace and ease and dignity and love. And that setting forth the intention right now, planting the seed of perfect balance between the masculine and the feminine. That there is no longer a need for sexual deviation. And that the focus becomes deeper connection, deeper intimacy, and deeper love and respect for each other and for ourselves. We simply give thanks for this wisdom bestowed upon us in this moment, knowing that divine and compelling right action is taking place on this planet. And we welcome that. And we release this word into the law of love, knowing that it cannot return to us unfulfilled, and that it is already done. And we simply allow it to be. And so it is. Thank you for joining me. Please continue to join in that prayer field and hold yourself in this process, knowing that you are not alone. And that I love you. And we're all in this together. My heart is with you always.